Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Magic and Miracles, where you learn how to be the magician of your life. My name is Anna, and I created Magic and Miracles in order to help people of all walks of life achieve their manifestation goals. True story. All the information for me is below. If you'd like to be in coaching with me, please understand that you first need to book a 1-hour session. It can be conducted via Zoom or via phone call, upon conclusion of which, once we establish that we're a great match, you are then expected to book the signature coaching package. And this is the program that I've developed for YouTube specifically after having coached outside YouTube for 7 years, then coming to YouTube and kind of creating the signature package in a bite-sized form, if you will. Outside YouTube, I coach people in entertainment, singers, comedians, actors, people like that. And they have a vastly different schedule. And some people have stayed with me for years now. But for YouTube people, and because I'm aware perhaps of the, shall we say, the financial situation that some people may be in order to make it in a bite-sized form, I created this package in which you can spend 2 to 3 months in order for us to complete your coaching. Now, it depends on the person. If you're very advanced, 1 month can be enough for you, and maybe some touch-up sessions afterwards. Maybe it's 2 months. I don't know. But in order, for me to actually give you an estimate, we need to rendezvous and talk about the situation and what it is you need to work on today. If you have any questions about that, you can email me. The emails are below. Additionally, a reminder, on June 7th, we're having a seminar on beliefs, how to rescript beliefs. This is part of my coaching curriculum, if you will. And we're spending 2 hours together. It's at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'll show you exactly how to rescript your beliefs without effort, effortlessly, affecting your psyche, affecting your blueprint, as it were, your belief system in a positive way, thus affecting your entire life. And that's, like I said, this is the center stage of my coaching program, and I am happy to kind of bring this to the public to experience on its own. And this can be your introduction into my coaching, a way to sample it, and for you to definitely understand how to actually attack your negative belief. I mean, attack is not actually the word. Gently pushed over to the side, gently discarded. So I'm really inspired to record this. I wasn't going to record this at all, but I had some additional thoughts after yesterday's live. And if you haven't watched it, go watch. And it was on the topic of how to hook your SP in. And I was just listening to one of my old audios from 2 years ago on my channel. And my God, times have changed. What a simpler time that was, if you know what I mean. What a magical, simpler time. I'm looking forward to it, going back to that. I'm still having a lot of fun, and I have to really just confess, I really just adore doing what I do, and nothing will ever stop me. And, I'm having second thoughts on not coaching from YouTube anymore. I think what I will do is I will have some coaching clients after the end of the year, but I'm more looking to help as many people as I can. And so I'm thinking of ways of doing that. So if you want to comment, let me know what ideas you have. I'm kind of working on my own ideas, but you can certainly chime in. But definitely love coaching for a very selfish reason. I really just adore the process of getting to know people, first of all, helping them, most importantly, but also I selfishly derive a lot of pleasure out of being able to deconstruct your belief system and reconstruct it in a way that will serve you for the rest of your life. And why I giggle as I say it is because I really just enjoy the detective work around it so much because I know the result that I can give you. So this is my kind of nerdy satisfaction around it, if you know what I mean. But I really do derive a lot of pleasure out of it. And this is why my process is so thorough, and you can read about it on my website. But I wanted to cover a few more topics on how to hook your SP in. You know, a lot of people really make it so complicated is an understatement of the fucking century. It's part of the reason why, and by that I mean other coaches on the internet and speakers, not all, of course, by God. There are some really wonderful people who have put forth a lot of brilliant work. But for the majority, I feel like this is the reason why I couldn't find, or couldn't resonate rather, with any coach that I was looking for 15 years ago when I was on my own journey. And I encountered, for the lack of a better word, fake people who really didn't believe in helping other people and were just there for, I don't know for what, but to look good and to have a position that's supposedly respectable. I do this work for an entirely different reason. I started this channel because I was inspired to. It's not like me to talk about my private stuff, my personal examples, etc. But I did all of this to help people because I felt a strong calling. I felt a strong inspiration. And so when people really make it complicated, I find it's my job and my calling to demystify the process. And in having gotten to know a lot of you in the last 3 years on YouTube, and I really, like I said, I'm enjoying the process tremendously of getting to know each and every single one of you. It isn't just manifestation, that you need. I think it's really just some things, they are just behavior that you need to unlearn, And yes, it's people pleasing. And yes, we absolutely must, deconstruct your beliefs of the past and construct new ones and really zero in on that. But in the meantime, what you can immediately do to affect your world and to hook your SP in or hook your money in or hook whatever in is acting like you are that person now. Acting like you already believe it. It doesn't happen before. So it's not like you're going to arrive to believing it and then you're going to act like this person. No, it's the other way around. You first need to act like you know that you're the golden Buddha with confidence, with full confidence, embracing this new role, even though it may be uncomfortable at first. Okay, so if you are wanting to hook somebody in quotations, right? It's tongue-in-cheek, as I said in live. Almost all my titles are kind of a little bit, poking fun kind of situation, having a laugh, as British people say, is acting like that person who has your SP hooked in completely. And not a goddamn thing has to change outside. Not a goddamn thing has to happen in the sense that you don't have to do anything. You just have to act like this person. And so, of course, this entails not only just thinking, or rather, so notice the difference, by the way. What I'm proposing here is not forcing yourself, but gently starting to stir the ship towards a new idea where you have a different role, you have a different position, getting to know with that role and tapping into this, therefore, parallel reality in which you have your SP hooked in. It's effortless. It's an effortless process. Once you make your intention known to the universe, hey, let me tap into this personality that has the confidence, that has my SP, meaning, another version of you has your SP, that has the money, that has the victory that I seek, that has this opportunity come to them right now, it will manifest for you because you're going to start mimicking that version of yourself. Okay? You're not embodying another person, you're embodying another version of yourself. Okay? Very important distinction. You're gently making other choices. And by allowing yourself to tap into this parallel version of yourself that is calm, that is collected, that doesn't worry, that doesn't fret, that doesn't give a flying fuck about the 3D. Okay, I get this question all the time. Anna, what do I do? But what do I do if they don't call? But what do I do if they say this? Ignore. If it doesn't go with your story, toss it in the trash can. The end. But before doing so, just another thing is behavior has to change of overanalyzing things against yourself. So there's certain things that you can implement immediately. Okay, immediately you can start making decisions. I have the intention of thinking and feeling as the person who has this SP hooked in. They're in love with me. They're absolutely head over heels in love. They're beaming with joy when they're thinking of me. And all that I'm doing is I'm changing my reality. I'm not going anywhere, not moving anywhere in that sense. But I'm literally, as I sit here, I'm jumping realities towards the parallel reality or parallel timeline, as it were, in which the reality, in which the events are playing out drastically differently. And I will join it simply by tapping in and feeling into that reality where it is exactly truth. Right now, right here. And I'm already there. Just like that. I haven't moved an inch, haven't moved my body, across the room or anything like that. All I did was I tapped in emotionally what it would feel like if this person was mine. Okay? If they are yours, then you behave differently. Behavior itself, certain things that you do right now out of insecurities or fears, checking up on them, this and that produces more negative energy towards this manifestation is no longer there because you're acting differently. Maybe you start dressing differently. Maybe you start eating differently, but it will inspire you. This parallel reality will inspire you to be that person who is already living out this dream right now. When you're acting like somebody, you become that somebody. And it is not difficult right now for you to immediately start acting on certain other decisions. It's a decision to not react negatively, but to interpret it in your favor. It's a decision to do this from here on. It's a decision to not catastrophize every single time something seemingly doesn't go your way. You see, so it's a behavior. It's not just affirmations. It's not just, a certain process. It's a behavior that you're displaying day in and day out. This fundamentally needs to change. If it's money that you want, are you taking action on that? Are you getting up in the morning or are you in bed till noon? Right? So how does that go? You're not mimicking that parallel version of yourself that has already the millions, the job, the opportunity. You need to create the situation yourself. You need to start tapping into this energy yourself. And then you will join that theater of this parallel reality. The other thing is that it really is that simple as directing somebody with your mind. And I know I've talked about this like ad nauseum on my channel, really, but I really want to underline this like 500, 600 million times and say, if you are thinking of somebody, they are thinking of you. In that moment that you're thinking of somebody, they are thinking of you. This is, scientists have been proving this over and over again. I'm sure you know this from your own experience. When you think of somebody and they text you or they call you or email you, whatever, it's reality. So when you are thinking of somebody, the quality of those thoughts and the emotion associated with those thoughts is communication. So therefore it becomes like super fucking crystal clear what I have to send into the mailbox of that person if I want a certain feeling, a certain outcome created that will produce a certain feeling. In other words, I'm feeding the feeling of that event, but also I'm feeding the feeling to the person. Now pay attention, and I'm going to give you gold here, okay? When you're thinking of somebody, the emotion that shows up is what you are inserting into that person. If you want to change anybody's mind, or to change the way that they're feeling towards you, or to not change, but maybe introduce something new, maybe they're neutral right now, and you want them to fall in love with you, you have to feel that feeling for them. Meaning, when you're thinking of this person and you're identifying the feeling that you want to have for them when they're thinking of you. Okay, so one more time. When you have an intention for them to feel a certain way towards you, you have to feel it for them first, as if you were observing them feeling it already, if that makes any sense. In other words, you're observing a reality in which they're already feeling this way, they're radiating this love for you, they're looking at you with like lovey-dovey eyes. It's a certain aura, if you know what I mean. If you have this much power over people, and you do, and parenthesis here, okay, not all people you're gonna wanna do this with. Very simple reason. Ready? Not all people have good energy. And some people's energy, quite frankly, fucking freaks me out. Not for nothing. I am very sensitive to energy. I have become even more sensitive to energy in the last couple of years. Maybe because I'm coaching extra, channeling extra, I don't know. But certainly my frequency has increased, really just skyrocketed in the last couple of years. I just gotta be honest. I don't know if it's because I stopped drinking over a year and a half ago now or what, but essentially I'm more sensitive to energy. So not all people's energy you wanna be tapping into. Right? So no, this is your decision. This is just my personal decision. I wouldn't go anywhere near such energy. And this kind of energy, you just clear it for yourself if you really have to interact with such a person, or you feeling them sending you energy, which I'm also very aware when people send me energy. I mean, we can go into this discussion another time, but because I have a closer relationship with the invisible world than the physical world, I mean, I can read people's thoughts, their intentions towards me, their strategies, their feelings, everything. I mean, I don't know if you want to call it clairvoyant or what, but it's what it is. And I've always had it, but in the last couple of years specifically, it has skyrocketed. And it is so on point, it's fucking scary. I mean, I'm scared myself. Anyway, if you have this kind of power over other people that you want as your, for example, your SP, then what are you doing not using it, right? It becomes that you need to use this day in and day out. And if you're having an issue to have this pure intention towards them, and just maybe, I don't know, for whatever reason, you're having difficulty feeling that you would want them to feel towards you. These are the kinds of things I examine in coaching. And there may be forgiveness that needs to take place. Maybe that's not even the person you want, quite frankly. That has happened in my coaching also. But that you do have this power and you're using it right now. As we speak, you're using it towards your SP, but you're just using it reverse. You're inserting not so good vibrations, shall we say, very kind of bluntly and not very imaginatively put, but what you're inserting into their heart is not what you want to experience. And the reason you're doing that is because your own heart may have been broken, may have suffered, etc., etc. And that's the part that I help you kind of clean up in coaching, because most probably, okay, I don't want to say certainly because, I don't want to sound too arrogant now. Most probably the episodes that still bother you from your childhood are being reproduced right now in this person, and you have a wound that needs to heal. And so in the moment that you don't have that wound anymore, you will be able to not be triggered and not be able to use this gift that you have of this telepathic transmission, this feeling transmission, in a very pure way. Now, parenthesis here, if you're new to my channel, I always advise to use all this power that you have benevolently only. Very simple reason is because if you don't, it's just going to backfire on you. Okay, it really serves no purpose. I've seen this in my life time and time again. Don't know what it is about me. I just make it a point in my life to only do right by people. Okay, I may have made some mistakes, but I can say, with the purity of my heart, never did I say anything that was untrue. Never did I do anything that was wrong, even though I could have, because these people were abusive towards me. But, the people that do come against me, inevitably, I'm so protected because of this kind of power that I have, having not harmed anybody purposely, that I've noticed that whoever comes against me really just suffers tremendously, because all of their bad intentions are just bouncing off of me and going back to them. And that's the power that you can have when you clean your energy. Up until today, you may have been attracting all sorts of things and not being able to deal with it very well. Or maybe it's the pattern in your relationships, etc., etc. When you really know your darkness and you can heal it, first of all, this pattern will not show up anymore. But if you will encounter another dysfunctional person, you, at the very least, will be able to clearly recognize the emotion, this feeling transmission that they're giving you, and that you can pick up from them, recognizing this is not a person to invest your time in, or at the very least to scan them, to see right through them, kind of situation. And when you're scanning a person, let's just say, you don't want to have anything to do with them, you just politely walk away and off you go. But let's say you are scanning somebody and you're picking up some really good energy, and you're picking up maybe their thoughts or feelings, and now you want to play around with it and insert some of your own intentions into their field. This is not manipulation. This is not, overriding somebody's free will. This is just finding resonance. Okay, I see some potential here. We're kind of the same frequency. So we're on the same frequency. I want to rendezvous with this version of you that has these thoughts, these emotions towards me, these feelings, these ideas of marriage, commitment, blah, blah, blah. Insert whatever you will. But in the beginning, I feel like there needs to be resonance with the pure version of yourself. Somebody who is whole and healed. And this is important, again, for your own discernment, as well as having your energy pure and clear. Lastly, I want to say something really important. Sometimes I do get told in coaching, Anna, I just want to get married, especially women. I just want to settle down. I want babies. I want children. I want the life. And this is like almost every woman that comes to me. And it's almost kind of like there's a little bit of, I don't want to say desperation, because it isn't that, but almost willing to just maybe settle a little bit, maybe just accept somebody just good enough. And I want to say to you, I don't care that your romantic life hasn't been fulfilling up until now. Don't let it give you the idea that you need to settle. In other words, if you're going to marry somebody, if you're going to spend the rest of your life with somebody, you might as well get exactly what the fuck you want. So this is just, honestly, my advice is to never settle, to not just say just any guy, just show me a guy and, no. You want the best. You want what you want, and I'll tell you why. Because if you get this guy that's just half-baked kind of manifestation, you're not going to want that guy. There's no resonance with this kind of creation, and you're going to once again not be happy. Or maybe it's going to not end well, or you're going to sabotage it, or they're going to, it doesn't have a resonance with the true core of who you really are. Might as well, if you're going to manifest after all this time, you might as well manifest exactly what you fucking want. Nothing else will do. Nothing else will simply do. This is not perfectionism. This is just simply stepping up to the table of your life and finally claiming your golden Buddha status. Why not get exactly what you want? You're not being picky. You're not being crazy. You're not being whatever. This is your life you're creating on purpose. And you are the Modigliani, the painter of your life, the sculptor of your life. You get to sculpt whatever. So if you're going to town creating this version of this person in your mind or creating somebody from scratch, by all means, create exactly what you want. Create exactly what you want. It will be easier for you to connect with this version, to hook them in quotations, because you know who they are vibrationally. It's easy to play with energy like that. It's not so much fun to play with energy that's kind of like a little bit blah. It's not exciting, in other words, to not get exactly what you want. And finally, I want to say that not all things should be, telepathically transmitted, if you will. I think it's a very healthy thing to be able to communicate well with your partner, with people in general, to say certain things. Okay, we do live in the 3D after all. So sometimes very often actually, clients come to me and say, well, I want to manifest this. Him saying that, or him bringing me this. There's certain things, ladies and gentlemen, that you can simply get by communicating, but in a way that there is an element of manifestation where this conversation can be brought about, but that some things simply need to be communicated. Maybe you need to ask for something in the relationship. Maybe you need to help them understand you better. There's no way you can thought transmit everything. Okay, you can influence somebody with your feeling to make them feel a certain way about you, change their mind, look at you differently, in a better light, blah, blah, blah. But not everything is communicated that way. Okay, we do need verbal communication from time to time, especially in relationships. And I think it's a really, really, like I said, healthy thing to communicate with your partner. Open your mouth and stand up for yourself and say what you need. Ultimately, your authenticity and your purity of the heart and being able to be straightforward, there's nothing sexier than that to me. You will stand out in the crowd of people who have no idea who they fucking are, have no confidence, full of insecurities, and just follow the crowd. You're going to be one of a kind, and you're going to light up like the star that you are, like the golden Buddha that you are. And you will become simply irresistible towards your SP. That's the frequency on which to create. But right now you can start changing this frequency. Right now you can start shifting by starting to behave like that person. In the beginning, it's uncomfortable, but the more you get used to it, the more it becomes a part of your life. And listen, you can do this in one day. You could do this in one night. By just simply asking yourself, what is the version of me doing right now that already knows and understands that I already have everything that I want? How would I be acting? What would I be feeling? Okay, small things can turn around any day on any such day, you can turn it around and quantum leap into an entirely different timeline. Completely. So use your imagination, zero in on the reality of your dreams, toy with the idea of being God, toy with the idea of being this person. It's available to you right here, right now. But I mean, the entire thing is so effortless, but so effortless. The only effort ever that you need to kind of create around this is what exactly do I want and how exactly does it feel? And that's a very refined skill, if you will. It's very artistic, if you will, but it's the only way to manifest. The only way to manifest is to play and have fun and pretend. When I say pretend, again, I'm using it towards the reality that you want to mimic to bring it over here. And this you can do right here, right now. Thank you very much for listening. All the information from me again is below. Until next time, ciao, ciao.